What's happening, friends? Welcome back to Dynamo DeFi. My name is Patrick, and on this channel I talk about cryptocurrency, decentralized finance, and economics. Today's video is all about THORChain. THORChain and its RUNE token have been one of the most popular talked about cryptocurrency projects of the past year. Today I'll go through what exactly is THORChain, how do its tokenomics work, why do some people think that it could become one of the most powerful fundamental projects in all of DeFi, and then finally, what are some of the upcoming developments that make THORChain exciting at this moment? And before I go any further, I want to emphasize that this video is not suggesting that you do or do not buy THORChain. It's just an informational video to help you do your own research, as you should, before investing in anything like cryptocurrency. Cool. So let's get right into it then. First thing we'll want to talk about is what exactly is THORChain, and to understand that, you really need to take a step back and look at the landscape of cryptocurrency and understand the problems that THORChain is solving. So right now, cryptos, as you probably know, exist across a number of different blockchains. You of course have the Bitcoin network, you have Ethereum, which has many different tokens on it, and then you have other networks like Binance Smart Chain, Solana, Terra, Avalanche, and the list goes on and on and on. To swap between those different networks is somewhat of a challenge. So there are certain decentralized solutions where you could, for example, send Ethereum on a bridge to Solana and get a wrapped version of it and then swap it for tokens on there. But overall, it's a rather cumbersome process. Even to swap Bitcoin with Ethereum, you'd have to wrap Bitcoin in a smart contract and then swap it on an exchange like Uniswap. And that presents a number of problems. First, there's security risks, because whenever you're using a bridge, you are exposing yourself to one more point of failure. And there have been cases in the past where bridges were hacked, for example. And so that's one risk, and some people get hesitant using bridges for that reason, especially with large sums of money. Another challenge is that it's just pretty cumbersome. So like we talked about, it's 2-3 steps just to swap one token to another on another chain. So what most people do is they actually send their tokens to a centralized exchange, and this is where the vast majority of trades happen, especially on big coins like Bitcoin. They send it to a centralized exchange that has order books, and then they trade it on there rather than on an exchange like Uniswap, a decentralized exchange like Uniswap. What THORChain seeks to do is to build a network that allows you to swap between different chains without needing to use a bridge and without needing a central intermediary to hold your funds. And by building this, they also hope to aggregate a lot of liquidity so that eventually they can actually have more liquidity than centralized exchanges. That's a very tall order, but that is their goal. So they're basically trying to build a fundamental of decentralization in the cryptocurrency space, so that way people can trade any quantity between any chain without needing to go to these centralized exchanges and hold their funds on there. And a lot of people who are sort of, OGs from a while ago in Bitcoin and Ethereum get nervous about using centralized exchanges, because there have been centralized exchanges before that lost people's funds. So that's why they say not your keys, not your crypto. And so that's basically what THORChain is seeking to do. And the way that they do that is that they have a series of nodes running. You can see if you look at this page right now, which is their website, they apparently have 97 nodes right now, and they're seeking to grow that. And then what the nodes do is they operate liquidity pools that pair native assets of different chains, like Bitcoin, for example, with their native RUNE token. And then the nodes together operate a multi-sig wallet for say the Bitcoin half of that. And so then people can send Bitcoin to the Bitcoin half and receive Ethereum from the other pool that has Ethereum paired with RUNE. And so this allows them to then send Bitcoin, receive Ethereum by linking both of their wallets without needing to ever actually bridge one of the tokens to another chain. So it's quite powerful, very, very powerful. And that's basically what it does in a nutshell. And the technical details are much more complicated than that. and there's a lot of links here on their website in the library section that go into sort of exactly how it works, that if you really want to understand, I'd recommend you dive into. But for our purposes, basically that's how it works. You send in one, it swaps it to RUNE, and then sends RUNE to the other pool, and then spits out the other thing. So RUNE is sort of an intermediary token for when you are swapping. But that's not all that RUNE does, though. So we'll talk a bit about the tokenomics now. So the first thing that you need to do is with RUNE is that when you provide liquidity on it, so with Bitcoin, for example, you have to pair it one-to-one with RUNE. So that generates demand for it right there because it needs to be supplied to all of these different liquidity pools within the THORChain network and within their DEX. And so that's one thing that it's used for. However, another thing that it's used for is that in order to ensure the security of the network, and this is where THORChain really sets itself apart from other places that try to do the same sorts of solutions, is that in order to ensure that it's never worth it for the nodes to run off with the funds, they have to bond 2 times the value of all the liquidity pools in RUNE tokens. And if they ever behave maliciously, those RUNEs that they're bonding would be slashed. So this guarantees that it's always going to be worth it for them to ensure that transactions are accurate, so that way they don't lose that RUNE that they've bonded. And this is also good for RUNE because as the size of these liquidity pools grow, it encourages the nodes to purchase more RUNE to bond. So they call that a deterministic value. And basically the way that works is that if the ratio gets off, so if they have less than 2x the RUNE, then there is liquidity, then the rate for bonding RUNE as a node goes up, and the rate for providing liquidity goes down. So it encourages the nodes to start purchasing RUNE until it's back in balance. And it's quite ingenious, and if their liquidity is able to grow well, then it will lead to a significant amount of RUNE, because basically it means that for every dollar of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, BNB, etc., that's bonded or that's provided as liquidity, 3 times that amount of RUNE needs to be bought. And another thing that's powerful about THORChain is that it allows people to earn yield on a variety of different assets, like Bitcoin, for example. But importantly, it also provides impermanent loss protection after 100 days. So if you bind Bitcoin here, of course you need some RUNE, but you can provide Bitcoin as liquidity, and then after 100 days you can exit the pool, and regardless of the price of Bitcoin changing or the price of RUNE changing, you will have the same amount of Bitcoin because they have impermanent loss protection. So that's quite appealing to people as well. And the only reason they're able to do that is because every single liquidity pool is paired with RUNE. And this sort of idea was first pioneered by a protocol called Bancor that is still around, but is unrelated to THORChain, to my knowledge. And so that's basically what you need to know about THORChain in a nutshell. And so why is it popular now? So first thing is they recently activated something called synthetics. So synthetics are basically synthetic versions of different assets that are now available for swapping on THORChain. So rather than swapping for native BNB or BTC, you can swap for a synthetic version of BTC on THORChain. And you might be saying, well, what's the point of that? We just talked about we don't want bridges. We want the native BTC for swaps. And that's true. However, there are some cool things you can do with synthetics. So for example, these are yield-bearing synthetics. So you could have yield-bearing BTC collateralized by THORChain liquidity pools, and then you could send that to other apps that require yield-bearing assets, like various borrowing apps on Ethereum, or perhaps even something like Anchor on Terra. And so that's quite powerful. THORChain will also be integrating the IBC, so it can connect to Cosmos soon. So you'll be able to bridge these synthetics over to other Cosmos apps. So for example, you could bring this synthetic version of BTC over to something like Osmosis, in theory, if Osmosis ends up supporting it. But you could do something like that, which is powerful. And then also, very soon, THORChain will be enabling other applications on their chain. So they're calling this ThorFi. You'll be able to have things like borrowing, lending, more complex financial products using these synthetic assets. This is pretty powerful, especially in conjunction with having the native assets available for swap on their DEX. And so that's sort of the first thing that has people excited. And another thing that is coming up is they are launching their own stablecoin soon. They're calling it THORUSD in the latest sort of discussion of it. And this will function similar to Luna, where RUNE is locked up or burned. Functionally, those are essentially the same in exchange for minting this THORUSD. And so that should create more demand for RUNE and also provide another DeFi fundamental in the form of their own stablecoin. Another reason why it is particularly exciting right now is they are integrating a lot more chains. So they are launching Terra, and that should launch any week now. So then you'll be able to have Luna on THORChain. You'll be able to have UST, and because that's one of the largest chains with some of the most TVL of any chain, it's going to bring a lot of liquidity to THORChain and potentially bring a lot more trades. I mean, you got to think about every single chain they integrate. It's like Metcalfe's law. It increases the number of connections between the different chains exponentially. So if you have 4 chains and you add a 5th, you're adding 4 potential connections. If you add a 6th, you're then adding 5 potential connections. So each one they add should be more beneficial than the prior ones they added. And so they're adding Terra. Then shortly after that, they're adding Atom. They're adding Haven, which I've talked about on this channel before, is a privacy-focused stablecoin. So you'll be able to swap between a private network and these other networks seamlessly. They've also got Decred and Dash, Zcash, and then just coming up, they've got Phantom, Binance Smart Chain, Avalanche, and Monero. So they're going to have a lot of different chains, pretty much all the major chains linked into THORChain. And so that has people very excited, especially the Terra launch, because that'll bring UST. Haven, I think, has a lot of people excited as well, just because that's going to bring privacy. And right now, it's somewhat difficult to, for example, get from a privacy coin to BTC without having to go through some sort of centralized exchange, which kind of defeats the whole point of the privacy in the first place. And then just some other things that are coming up is they are launching their mainnet soon. And truthfully, when I read they were launching their mainnet, I was kind of confused because I said, well, isn't THORChain already live? You can look at the trade volume. Right now they're in their chaos net, which is functional, but the mainnet will be sort of the ultimate iteration of their network. And right now chaosnet has an off switch for the development team, so that way they can shut it off to tweak it when they need to. And then also once they go to the mainnet, there will be no caps on staking. So right now they're sort of limiting the size of the network to ensure that everything is right as it grows. And there's some other sort of technical things as well. But basically, mainnet is when it's primed for takeoff. Right now, it works, it's functional, but it's sort of like still in a testing phase while they get everything figured out. Now, if this sounds interesting to you and you want to use it, then they actually don't have their own interface. So THORChain is trying to be a back-end DeFi fundamental, and then other apps can build on top of it and access those liquidity pools. So, for example, there's Shapeshift, ThorSwap, AsgardX, Skip, ThorWallet, Dragons, Brocker, DeFi Spot, and Rango. ThorSwap seems to be the most popular. You can see that it's got a lot of green check marks on here. So that is what I'm going to look at here, and it should look pretty familiar if you've used a decentralized exchange before. And you can see here that the tokens that you would provide to pools, for example, are native BTC, native ETH, native BNB, and so on and so forth. And the rates are somewhat decent. So, for example, 23% on BTC with impermanent loss protection, 25% on ETH with impermanent loss protection, 50% on USDC. And that is very nice. Again, you have to supply RUNE as well because it's a liquidity pool, but you do get that nice impermanent loss protection. You even have Dogecoin, right? You can earn some yield on Dogecoin. Actually, that DAI rate, 147% on DAI, that is really, 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 really solid. Perhaps I've been sort of accumulating RUNE. Maybe I'll put some of mine in this pool. But yeah, this is ThorSwap, and this seems to be the most popular, although I would encourage you to always do your own research and decide which of these is going to work for you. Some of these also have their own token. So ThorSwap has their own token. I believe Thor Wallet has their own token as well. There's another wallet called XDeFi that's integrated with THORChain, and I believe uses ThorSwap, and they have their own token, XDeFi. So there are some other sort of things in the ecosystem as well that you can check out. And overall, I think this is going to be sort of a topic of conversation in DeFi over the next few weeks and months, provided that the whole market doesn't decide to take a dive. If you are interested in it, based on what I've said, it's important to note that it has come up a lot the past week. So it was all the way down here around $4 just 6 days ago, and it's really come up a lot since then. It's around $7, and I don't do technical analysis on this channel, so when I buy, I just always say, I dollar cost average. I add a bit every day until I've gotten to the position that I want, and perhaps it goes down in the meantime. That's happened to me many times. But I'm accumulating it for the long term personally. But you should always do what's right for you. One other thing I'll add is that, so this is my Twitter, Dynamo_Patrick. A lot of times I'll talk about things on here before I get a chance to make a video. So for example, I started talking about THORChain yesterday in the morning, and I didn't catch the bottom of this. I'm not going to claim that I did, but it was about 20% lower when I started talking about it on there. So if you want the latest updates, be sure to follow me over on Twitter. And that's all I got for today. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any other questions about THORChain, be sure to drop a comment down below. And until next time, this is Dynamo DeFi.